Alright, welcome back to another RStudios video. So in today's video, we're going to be going over vectors, which is pretty easy, so hopefully this will be a shorter video for you guys. So vectors are the simplest and most common data structures in RStudios, and there are two types. There is an atomic vector, and there are lists. Atomic vectors are just one data type, while lists, obviously, are multiple data types. So we've already been introduced to a few vectors if you've been following this series, like numeric vectors, where we just have numbers in a vector. But there's also logical vectors, there's character vectors, there's integer vectors, and there's complex vectors. Today we will be going over logical and character vectors. So logical vectors generate as result of logical conditions. So they'll be like true, false, or not available, or NA. So if we look down here in this bottom left corner, I'm going to show you an example. So if we do num_vect, and we're going to make this a variable, that means that'll be a vector. So we'll have C to pop up our vector. So we do C parentheses, and I'll show that in a second better. 0.5, comma 55, -10, and 6. And just putting in a few numbers there. Here, I'll zoom in so you can see it. That's pretty good. So then we'll enter that. So now we've stored that variable. And then I'm going to do TF is now going to be stored as our new variable, number_vect, which is going to be less than 1. So now we've got these two different things here. So now if I run TF, it's going to give me 4 answers. So let me pull this up here. So we've got our our new variable, number_vec, is stored as this numeric vector. And TF is stored as the number vector, variable. Our variable is going to be less than 1. So this is going to run through these numbers and figure out which of them is less than 1. So when we run it, we get true, false, true, false. So it's a logical vector, because 0.5 is less than 1, so it's true. 55 is not less than 1, false. And you get the picture, which is pretty cool that works. Alrighty, so that's pretty good. We'll go for that. So that's logical vectors. We could go through other examples, but I don't think you guys are smart enough to understand that. So we'll go on to character vectors. And these are distinguished by double quotes. So we're going to make a new variable. So my_here, we'll store this, and this is going to be a new variable. So my name is. Cool. So this is our new character variable, and you can see that they're these words, and they're all notated with our double quotes. So when I print it, excuse me, I just stored it. So when I print it, we get my name is. Three variables in our vector, which is pretty cool. So what if I wanted to make this one whole variable, where instead of 1, 2, 3, my name is, we have just in one quotation mark, my name is. Well, then we can do it something like this. We use something called a paste function. So we do paste with our quotes, or with our parentheses, sorry. Then we'll take my character variable. So this is our vector, my char, comma. Then we're going to do something called collapse. And this is an argument that tells R to join elements of the vector together. Collapse equals, and then we do in quotes. Yeah, let me show you this. So I've written it out. So we've got this paste function, then our vector variable, then this collapse equals, and this is the argument that joins the vector together, and this quote with the space in between it, that divides, that just says that each of the my name is just going to be spaced out with a space in between them. So as you can see, now we've got my name is. We have it all in one quotation mark, and the words are separated with spaces. Neat. All right. Cool. So what if I wanted to finish this sentence and put my name is like Clark Kent or something like that? So now we'll have to make a new vector. So I'm going to make my name. We'll store this as a vector. So we have our C, then my underscore char, and then Clark Kent. So now we've got this new variable, new vector, which will be stored as my name, and we include our past vector that is my name is, and then a new variable, which is Clark Kent. Sorry, I didn't have the camera there. So new vector, old vector, and then new variable. So we've stored it. Now I type in my name, and then we enter it, and we get my name is Clark Kent. So it's all added in there. Sorry, this is always going over 5 minutes, but I guess that's how this goes sometimes. So these character variable vectors that we've done have been collapsing elements of a single character vectors, but we can do it for like many different multiple character variables. For an example, we can do paste, and parentheses, hello, comma, world, set equals. So now we've made this new paste function where we are going to try to combine those two words together. Hello world. So there we go. Works like that. So that's pretty cool. And now we'll do two more complicated examples of this. So what if we wanted to integrate an integer vector with a character vector? So we're adding two different vectors together like that. Well, here's an example. So we'll take our paste function, and we're going to do an integer. So let's go ahead and just choose 1:3, which is just a ratio, comma. Now we're going to add in a character vector. So we're going to do our C and new parentheses inside. So we've got, let's just do X, Y, and Z, notating each of our variables in this new vector, in our character vector, with our double quotes. And then back into the outer parentheses, we'll do our separate, oops, it's supposed to be P equals quotes, and then we enter, and then we get 1x, 2y, 3z. We combine the 1, 2, 3 in our little integer thing with the x, y, z, which is pretty cool. So now, the last example I'll show before we end the video is the same sort of thing, but if the values of each of these are different. So like, let's say there's like 23 numbers here and like 166 here. What would happen there? And we've kind of gone over this before in the basic blocks video, where it does vector recycling, where it'll kind of repeat the lower number vector until the bigger number vector runs out of characters. So I'll go ahead and show that. So I'm going to type in our last example. So we'll have our paste function, paste, parentheses. Now we're going to type in this variable called letters, and then an integer, 1, 4, and then our separate equals, and then I'm going to divide it with a little dash. So you can kind of see here we got our paste function. Now this letters variable is already put in R, and it's just all the letters in the alphabet. So that's a lot of variables. And then 1 through 4, so it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to separate these with a dash. So when we enter, we get A1, B2, C3, D4. Then we get E1, F2, G3, H4, all the way through the alphabet. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 just gets repeated all the way till Z, in which case we have run out of variables in the alphabet. So that is my video on vectors. Hope you all enjoyed and have a wonderful day.